They said I could stay with them during chemo. The next morning, my son's wife whispered loud enough, "If he dies, we're selling this place first." I lay there pretending to sleep. He said nothing. That night, I got up, packed my things, and left a note that ended with, "You'll regret what you chose today." I'm a 68-year-old man from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer just over a month ago. When I heard the words from the doctor's mouth, my ears went numb. I sat there staring at the wall, nodding like I understood everything he was saying. But I didn't. All I heard was, "You have cancer." I live alone. My wife, Jean, passed 8 years ago. My apartment's small, run down. Rent keeps climbing. I get by on Social Security and a tiny pension from my time working maintenance at the high school. No savings. Medical bills hit hard. I knew I'd need help getting through this. So I did the only thing I could think of. I called my son, Tyler. He's 34. Lives in Rapid City with his wife, Brooke. I haven't been that close to them the last few years, but we weren't exactly strangers either. He'd call once in a while, mostly on birthdays. Sometimes Christmas. After Jean died, I thought maybe he'd check in more, but life got busy for him, I guess. Still, when I called him about the cancer, his voice sounded concerned. "Dad, come stay with us. We'll help you get through this." I hesitated. I didn't want to be in the way. "You sure?" I asked. "Of course," he said. "We've got the guest room. You can do treatments here. Brooke's working from home, so there's someone around most of the time." I thanked him. I meant it. I felt like I'd been thrown a life raft. I packed my things, mostly clothes, a few photos, some of Jean's old keepsakes, and I took the bus across the state. It was late March. Cold wind. Slush still on the sidewalks. Brooke opened the door when I arrived. She looked surprised to see me. Like she wasn't expecting it to be that soon. She gave a quick, dry smile and a hi. No hug. She turned back to her laptop on the kitchen table while I stood in the doorway with my bag. Tyler came from the back, helped me get settled. The guest room wasn't much. Boxes everywhere. Looked like they used it for storage. There was a bed shoved in the corner, a half-empty yoga mat rolled up by the wall, and a ring light. I guess she films workouts or something. That first night, Brooke made salmon. Fancy looking, but bland. I tried to eat it, but chemo was already making me queasy. I forced half of it down just to be polite. At one point, she looked over at me and said, "We don't really do processed food or meat-heavy stuff. It's not good for gut health." Tyler was quiet. I told her I'd try my best. I thanked her. She didn't respond. That night, I lay in bed. My stomach hurt. My chest felt tight. The sheets smelled like dryer sheets and perfume. Nothing familiar. At 5:30 the next morning, I woke up to their voices. They weren't being careful. I heard Brooke in the kitchen, sharp and annoyed. "If he dies, we're selling this place first. I'm not staying in a house that smells like death." I froze. She laughed. "I mean, come on. How long do we have to play nurse? He's barely eating. We'll be stuck with bills and hospice crap." "No way." Then silence. I waited. I waited for Tyler to say something. Tell her to stop. Tell her she was being cold. Cruel. But all I heard was the fridge open. A spoon clinked in a mug. Coffee being stirred. Then Brooke again, "You said we couldn't afford this. So don't act shocked." Tyler still said nothing. That silence said more than words ever could. I lay there, holding my breath. I felt like something in me cracked. I thought about Jean. What she'd say if she were alive. What she'd feel hearing that her only son had a wife who saw me as garbage. That he stood there and didn't defend me. That I was just a problem to be solved by dying. I didn't say a word that day. I stayed in bed. Only got up to use the bathroom. At night, when I was sure they were asleep, I got up. I moved quietly. Packed my bag. I didn't have much anyway. I took my wallet, my meds, a photo of Jean, and my coat. I left the spare key they gave me on the counter. Then I found a notepad near the fridge. I wrote a note. Simple. Honest. "I heard everything this morning. You didn't say a word, Tyler. That was your answer. I won't stay where I'm not wanted. You'll regret what you chose today." Dad, I didn't cry until I reached the sidewalk. I just stood there in the cold with my bag, heart pounding, trying not to fall apart. I walked to the bus station, sat there till morning. I called Ron, my old army buddy from Billings. I hadn't talked to him in a couple years, but he picked up on the second ring. "Ron, it's me." I told him everything. Not all the details. Just enough. He didn't hesitate. "You get on a bus. I'll be at the station waiting." He meant it. Now I'm staying in Ron's spare room. It's small but clean. He's got this old hound named Duke who follows me around like I'm made of bacon. The bed creaks, but it doesn't matter. I feel safe. That's what matters. He drives me to Chemo, makes me toast when I can't eat much, doesn't talk unless I need him to, just sits beside me when it's bad. A week after I left Tyler's house, he texted me, "Dad? Where are you? Brooke said you just left? What happened?" I didn't respond. 2 days later, "Seriously, please talk to me. I don't know what happened." No voicemail, no real apology. Then a letter came in the mail. Typed, cold. From Brooke, "We're sorry if there was a misunderstanding. I was venting. We've had a lot on our plate. We do care about you. Let us know if you need anything. Sincerely, Brooke and Tyler." I ripped it in half, threw it in the fire. Ron watched me do it. Didn't say a word, just nodded once. That was 3 weeks ago. Last night, Ron showed me a Zillow listing. Tyler and Brooke's house is up for sale, asking nearly $600,000. Funny, isn't it? The house I wasn't welcome in. The room where I lay listening to them talk about me like I was already dead. That place is now being marketed as cozy and full of family warmth. They're moving on, trying to wipe the slate clean, but they'll never erase what they did. And I'm not done. About 2 weeks after I saw the house listing, Ron got a phone call. I was sitting in the kitchen trying to stomach some oatmeal. He answered in the other room, but I could hear his voice get real tight. When he came back in, he looked serious. "That was your son," he said. I stopped chewing. He tracked me down somehow. Got my name off your old Army Facebook group, I guess. What did he say? He's coming here. I put the spoon down. He said he wants to talk face to face. Said he's driving over tomorrow. I didn't say anything. I just nodded. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there thinking about all the things I wanted to say to him. All the things I didn't get to say when I left. The hurt, the disappointment, the shame. He showed up around 3 the next day. Pulled into Ron's gravel driveway in a shiny white SUV. Got out wearing sunglasses and some expensive jacket. He looked like a stranger. I didn't go outside. I waited on the porch. Ron stood by the door, arms crossed. He didn't say a word to Tyler, just nodded toward me and walked back inside. Tyler climbed the steps, took the sunglasses off. "Hey, Dad." I didn't respond right away. He sat on the top step, like he was expecting a warm moment. Finally, I spoke. "You didn't come to help. You came to make yourself feel better." He shook his head. "No, I came to talk, to explain." "Explain what? That your wife thinks I'm dead weight? That you didn't have the guts to tell her she was wrong?" He looked away. "It's not that simple." "It is. I needed family, and you let her decide I wasn't worth it." We sat in silence. Then he said, "Brooke's pregnant." I didn't expect that. He looked at me like it explained everything. Like I was supposed to forget how they treated me just because a baby was on the way. I stared at him. "So, you're having a kid, and now you remember you have a father." He didn't deny it. He told me they were scared, that the pregnancy wasn't planned, that Brooke was under pressure with work, that he didn't know how to respond when she made those comments. "She said she didn't mean it," he added. "She meant it," I said. "And you meant it more by staying silent." He didn't argue. Then he tried the next card. "We want you to come back, be part of the baby's life. Things will be different." I stood up. My legs were shaking, but I stood anyway. "You're selling the house. You already packed my bed away. Don't stand here acting like I matter now." He looked ashamed. "But not enough. You wrote in your note I'd regret what I chose," he said. "I do." I nodded once. "You should." Then I walked back into the house. He sat there for a while on the porch. Ron and I watched from inside. After maybe half an hour, he got up and left. Didn't knock. Didn't try again. But that wasn't the last I'd hear from him. The real twist came a week later. Ron was out picking up meds for me. I was sitting on the couch, half asleep, when there was a knock at the door. I opened it and Brooke was standing there. Alone. She was thinner. Her eyes sunken. Hair pulled back tight. "Hi," she said like we were meeting at a coffee shop. I didn't move. Didn't speak. I drove here by myself. Tyler doesn't know. I leaned against the doorframe. "Why?" She looked down at the porch. I wanted to say it. In person. "Say what?" She took a deep breath. "I was wrong. I was cruel. I was scared. I didn't want to deal with sickness or death. And I took it out on you. I used words I can't take back. I didn't answer. She looked up at me. You don't have to forgive me, but I wanted you to hear me say it. I let that sit in the air a while. Then I said, you only came because you're having a kid. You want to fix your image. That it? She shook her head. No. I don't want to raise a child and have them find out someday that I threw away their grandfather when he needed help the most. I stared at her. My hands were shaking. Too late, I said quietly. She nodded, took a folded piece of paper from her purse and handed it to me. I wrote something, she said, in case you didn't want to talk. She turned and walked back to her car without waiting for me to open it. I stood there for a long time holding that letter. Later that night, I opened it. Inside was something I didn't expect. It wasn't just an apology. It was a confession. That night, I sat alone in the kitchen with Brooke's letter. The lights were dim. Ron was out in the garage working on something, giving me space. I unfolded the paper slowly, not sure if I even wanted to read it. But part of me needed to know. Started like I expected, more apologies, talking about stress and fear. But then the tone shifted. There's something I haven't told Tyler, she wrote. And after everything, I think you deserve to know more than he does. My hands went cold. She wrote that the pregnancy hadn't been an accident. She had planned it. Not with Tyler. Alone. She had stopped taking birth control months earlier and never told him. She wanted to lock things down. As she put it, Tyler's job isn't stable, she wrote. We were struggling, and I was scared he'd leave me, so I made sure he wouldn't. I had to stop reading for a second. My chest was tight. Not just from chemo, from rage, confusion, disgust. But it got worse. When you moved in, she wrote. I panicked. I didn't expect you to be that sick. I didn't want to be the one to take care of you. I didn't want to feel trapped. She said she felt suffocated by the whole thing, the cancer, the house, the money issues. So she pushed Tyler, pressured him to get the house appraised, to look at listings, told him they needed a clean start. I didn't think you'd leave like that, she wrote. I thought you'd lash out, argue, make it ugly, but you didn't. You just left. And somehow that was worse. Then she wrote something that stuck with me. You leaving so quietly made me realize just how loud my own cruelty sounded. I sat there for a long time after reading it. My stomach churned. Not because of the chemo. Not this time. Ron walked in and saw the look on my face. He didn't ask. Just poured me a glass of water and sat across from me. I handed him the letter. He read it slowly, then folded it back up and slid it across the table. Damn, he said. We didn't say much else that night. The next morning, Tyler called again. I didn't answer. Later that day, he sent a text. Brooke's been gone all day. Did she come there? I didn't reply. That night, I got another knock on the door. But this time, it wasn't Tyler. And it wasn't Brooke. It was someone I hadn't seen in over a decade. My niece, Hannah. She looked older, but the same strong-willed face I remembered from family cookouts back in '09. Jean always said she had my fire. She smiled when she saw me. Uncle Rob, heard you were still kicking. Figured it was time I visited. I let her in stunned. We hugged. She looked around the house. This Ron guy treating you good? He's been more family than most. She nodded. Good. Then maybe you'll let me help you now. That confused me. Help me with what? She sat down, pulled out her phone, and slid it across the table. It was a website. A GoFundMe. Help Rob fight cancer, his son abandoned him. Thousands of shares. Over $60,000 raised. I stared at the screen. You did this. She nodded. I found out what happened through one of Brooke's old friends. She told me everything. The house. The comments. The way you left. So I told your story. People care more than you think. I just sat there. Couldn't even speak. There's more, she said. Local news wants to interview you. People are pissed. They want to help. Some lady even offered to send you her RV to live in if you want your own space. I was overwhelmed. But then she dropped one more thing. You should also know. Tyler and Brooke are being investigated. I looked up fast. For what? She took a breath. Financial stuff. Fraud. Someone reported irregularities on the mortgage paperwork. Looks like they may have lied about income to refinance before they listed the house. There's a bank audit happening. I just stared at her. She leaned back and said, "Funny how karma works when you stop chasing it and just let it walk into the room." I didn't say anything, but I felt it. The storm was just beginning. The next few weeks moved fast. The GoFundMe Hannah set up passed $100,000 in donations. People from all over the country were commenting. Veterans, widows, cancer survivors, even nurses who had lost their parents to similar treatment. They were angry, not at me, at what was done to me. I was just a sick old man in a quiet town who'd been tossed aside by his own blood. And people felt that deep. They related. I didn't expect it to go viral, but it did. Local news reached out. I agreed to sit down for a short interview. They filmed it in Ron's backyard. Simple setting, no drama. I told the truth. No yelling. No tears. Just the facts. I said, I raised a son with my wife for over 30 years. I showed up for every game, every illness, every bad day. When I got sick, I thought he'd be there. He wasn't. I didn't expect money. I just wanted a place to feel safe. But I overheard my own daughter-in-law say, if he dies, we're selling this place first. And my son? He said nothing. The anchor's face was tight during the playback. Even the camera guy looked mad. The segment aired that week. It exploded. I started getting letters, emails, even care packages from people I'd never met. Some shared stories. Some just wanted me to feel seen. But the real fallout came quick. Tyler lost his job. The company he worked for, a mid-size real estate firm, let him go after the story went public. Said it wasn't personal, but they couldn't be connected to anything like that. Public image mattered more than loyalty. Then came the mortgage investigation. Turned out Brooke had falsified parts of their financial paperwork to get the refinance approved so they could sell at a profit. Her old job in marketing? She had quit it months ago and hadn't told the bank, but listed it on their refi forms anyway. And Tyler, whether he knew or not, had signed off on it. The bank froze the sale. They were hit with a fine, and Brooke was slapped with criminal charges for fraud. Not huge ones, maybe no jail time, but enough to ruin their financial standing and credit. The house? Pulled off the market. Then came the most unexpected blow. Child Protective Services got involved. Someone, maybe a donor, maybe a viewer, sent the local agency clips from the news report and anonymous statements about the home environment. Said it wasn't safe, not mentally or emotionally, for a child to be raised where elders were disposable. Nothing came from it right away, but the agency opened a file. That's all it took. From then on, Brooke and Tyler had social workers knocking on their door. Tyler called me again. This time I picked up. He was crying. "Dad," he said, voice raw, "I lost everything. The house, the job. Brooke might go to jail. CPS is watching us. People are sending us threats. We can't go anywhere without getting stared at." I listened. Didn't say much. "I'm sorry," he added. "God, I'm sorry. I was weak. I should have stopped her. I should have told you that you mattered. But I didn't. And I don't know how to fix it now." I said one thing. "You don't." Then I hung up. But that wasn't the end. About a month later, I got a handwritten letter from Brooke. The tone was different this time. No fake apologies. No excuses. She said, "I deserve this." I thought power came from control, money, appearances, image. But I had no soul left in me when it counted. I used a baby as an excuse to trap my husband. "I treated you like you were nothing. Now I know what nothing feels like." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Ron and I used some of the GoFundMe money to get me a better place. A small cabin with a wraparound porch just outside Billings. Cozy, clean, peaceful. I still have chemo appointments, but I'm responding better than expected. The doctors are hopeful. And for the first time in a long time, I am too. People still send me messages. Some say they stood up to their own families after hearing my story. Some just write to say they love me. That's a strange thing, being loved by strangers. But it's real. As for Hannah, she stayed close, visits often, helps with bills, checks in. She even talked me into joining a Facebook group for Grandparent by Pain, as she called it. We laugh more now. The last time we sat together on the porch, she said, "Uncle Rob, you got your revenge." I shook my head. "No," I told her. "Life did. They made their choices. Now they get to live with them, and I get to live.